The 2007 cinematic offering, Resident Evil: Extinction, is not merely a sequel. It is the fiery crucible in which the initial, contained horror of Raccoon City is forged into a post-apocalyptic, sun-blasted nightmare. Director Russel Mulcahy, working from a script by series progenitor Paul W. S. Anderson, takes the established mythology and dramatically scales up the canvas, swapping the claustrophobic corridors for the endless, ochre expanse of the Mojave Desert. This shift in scenery is immediately striking, transforming the narrative from a survival horror flick into a Mad Maxian road movie drenched in zombie gore. At the heart of this scorched earth saga is, as ever, Alice, portrayed with the requisite blend of stoicism and lethal grace by Milla Jovovich. But this Alice is different. She is a lone wanderer, a specter zipping across the desolate wastelands on a motorcycle, keeping herself isolated. The reason for this solitude is a chilling evolution of her character arc. The nefarious Umbrella Corporation, through its globe-spanning satellite network, can track her via her increasingly potent psychokinetic abilities. To safeguard the few remaining uninfected, Alice has embraced the ultimate exile, a solitary, roving defender in a world that has long since given up its greenery and its sanity. The film's exposition reveals a world utterly consumed by the T-virus. The outbreak wasn't contained. It spread like wildfire, dehydrating the planet and leaving entire cities, like the ruins of Las Vegas, half buried under sand. This is not just a zombie outbreak, it is a global ecological collapse. The familiar shuffling hordes are now simply part of the brutal, day-to-day backdrop. Alice's solitude is interrupted by the re-entry of familiar faces and the introduction of new ones. She serendipitously encounters a heavily armored convoy of survivors, a traveling fortress traversing the deadly landscape. This convoy is led by the franchise's significant new addition, Claire Redfield, a character familiar to fans of the original video game series, bringing a necessary layer of human resilience and leadership. Also among the group are Raccoon City veteran Carlos Oliveira, whose rugged dependability remains a cornerstone, and the perpetually unlucky LJ Wade. This group represents the collective, frayed hope of humanity, a counterpoint to Alice's isolated power. The convoy's desperate journey is their mission. They cling to the slender hope of finding Arcadia, a rumored, uninfected safe haven in the icy expanse of Alaska. This quest for a promised land gives the film its forward momentum, driving the action toward the inevitable confrontation with the true, unfeeling villain of the piece, the Umbrella Corporation and its mad scientist-in-residence, Dr. Alexander Isaacs. Dr. Isaacs, a chillingly pragmatic villain, operates from a vast underground research facility in the Nevada desert. His obsession is not merely survival, but the perfection of the T-virus and, more crucially, the exploitation of Alice's unique genetic composition and psychic powers. Isaacs views Alice as the key to a cure, or perhaps, a new form of weaponized evolution. The film introduces a disturbing plot thread here, a field of Alice clones, countless identical bodies, failed experiments in Umbrella's brutal quest to replicate her gifts. It is a profoundly dehumanizing spectacle, underscoring the corporation's monstrous indifference to individual life. The confrontation is built around several spectacular set pieces. The most memorable is the terrifying ambush by a flock of genetically mutated, hyper-aggressive crows, their eyes burning with the telltale viral infection. This sequence is a brilliant elevation of the common monster trope, allowing Alice to unleash her telekinetic fury in a stunning, almost balletic display of destructive power, momentarily cementing her status as a near-superhuman force. The climax takes place in the sand-choked remnants of Las Vegas and later in Isaac's underground bunker. The Vegas sequence is a feast of visual decay, featuring the introduction of super zombies, mutated, more intelligent, and faster infected created by Dr. Isaacs using a serum derived from Alice's blood. These creatures, a clear escalation of the threat, decimate the convoy, leading to heartbreaking sacrifices. Carlos Oliveira's final, heroic stand, driving a tanker truck full of fuel into a horde of the undead, is a moment of genuine emotional weight, a noble end for one of the franchise's most enduring supporting characters. Alice, now fully committed to vengeance, penetrates the subterranean facility. Here, the final battle ensues, not just against Umbrella's security, but against the ultimate manifestation of Isaac's hubris, the T-virus-infected Dr. Isaacs himself, who mutates into a colossal, grotesque creature known as the Tyrant. The fight, taking place within a replica of the laser corridor from the first film, is a brutal, visceral spectacle, one that Alice ultimately wins with a chilling combination of her wits and her newly embraced powers. Resident Evil: Extinction culminates with a powerful, defiant gesture. Having defeated the immediate threat, Alice accesses Umbrella's main system, informing the unseen, high-ranking executives, including a holographic Albert Wesker, that she is coming for them, not as a weapon or an experiment, but as an unstoppable enemy. The film closes on an image of her commanding an army of her own clones, awakening them from their stasis tubes, transforming the lone wolf into the general of a new, genetically identical resistance. The film is a successful exercise in genre blending, moving the series decisively into the post-apocalyptic action realm while maintaining its core horror elements. It is a harsh, stylized, and surprisingly emotional chapter, establishing Alice not just as a survivor, but as a mythical, avenging figure in the ruins of civilization. The narrative, while occasionally sacrificing logical precision for visual spectacle, delivers on its promise of scale and concludes the original trilogy with an emphatic, high-octane call to war. It leaves the viewer with the resonant image of an Earth sacrificed, but a heroine reborn, ready to take the fight directly to the corporate behemoth that shattered the world. This is the extinction that paves the way for a reckoning.